Right, my name's Tony Donoghue. We're just looking at Unit 28 and the topic we're looking at is calculus. It's based on two areas really, one called differentiation and the other one's called integration. We're going to look at differentiation here. And this first question here on the board here is basically what they call a function of a function. Sometimes in textbooks they call it the chain rule. And the function of a function sounds really daft, but what it means is y is dependent on x and x is dependent on u, so you've got a few sort of things that depend on each other. And you've got to remember that Unit 4, Maths for Technicians, sort of taught us basically that if you have an equation like this, when you differentiate, that's dy by dx, you know, you put this situation. So basically what you're doing is you're putting the indice at the front, timesing it by the coefficient. The coefficient is the number in front of x, and you take 1 off the power. So if you remember that of Unit 4, you shouldn't really have any problems with this first one. Okay, so I'll take you through the first one, so we'll just get rid of that. Okay, we'll get rid of that. So the first thing to do, if we look at this problem here, is I think we'll start off by writing the question down. It's always good to write the question down. So we'll just put that like that. Now if we put u is equal to this thing here, 3 plus 4x, and we've got to differentiate it. It's not dy by dx, it's actually du by dx. This is denoted by the two letters here. So this is du by dx. Du by dx, if you differentiate a number, it disappears because you can't get a slope on a number. But if you differentiate this using the previous equation, we end up with 4. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bubble around that, just to say that we've got to remember that. Okay? If we go back up to the top of the question now, we've now got y is equal to, we'll put u here instead of there, so we'll put u to the power of 3 here. And we've got to differentiate this one. So if we differentiate this one, it's actually dy by du, using the same principle. Put it to the front and take 1 off. That's what I say to the students there. Put it to the front and take 1 off. So we know 3u squared. Put a little bubble around that. A little bubble around that. Okay. Now what we've got to do now is we've got to get the whole thing put together. So to finish off, what it is dy by dx is this one times this one. I'll just repeat that. This one times this one. So if we put du by dx times this one, which is dy by du, I don't know if anybody's noticed anything on this particular thing, but the du's will cancel. If the du's cancel, you end up with dy by dx on both sides, which means that the equation is totally verified. So we're quite right to multiply this one by this one. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll multiply the 4 by this, so we get 12u squared. See that? The 4 times this is 12u squared. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of this, just clear it a little bit. So we've got 12u squared is equal to dy by dx. And the final bit, the very final bit, we said early on that u is equal to 3 plus 4x. So we now do 12 bracket 3 plus 4x squared. Yeah? And that completes part 1, which is called the function of a function. Y depended on x and x depended on u. So we'll now do question